The origin of this movie was actually my family's history. My family comes from this town, Krasnostaw, in southeastern Poland. And when I was a teenager, I developed a really close bond with my dad's aunt. Her name was Doris. She became like my closest relative. I saw her every week from ages, 17 to when she died 2 years ago at 107 years old. Holocaust tours, in parentheses, with lunch. And I was, what is with lunch? What does that mean? So I clicked on the ad banner, and it took me to this tour through the Holocaust sites, but with all of the creature comforts that an upper-middle-class American tourist would want. We visit the site of where 300,000 Jews were killed, and at night, we're going to this wonderful restaurant and then staying at the Radisson. Kieran Culkin is the real star of the movie. He's the character that the audience is going to be watching the whole time, trying to kind of figure out, trying to diagnose.
I remember thinking, what an incredible character. Really, really tough needle to thread, because that charm and social brilliance and humor is constantly undercut by his...
Yeah, but she's got this, deep sadness behind her eyes,
She does?
Yeah, you didn't notice that?
During the introductions? No.
Marcia is a woman, I believe, who has been feeling extremely disconnected.
I wanted somebody who could be emotionally open, somebody who can portray a kind of world weariness that Benji could kind of glom onto and agree with.
He sees her, and she sees him, I think, in a way that David doesn't see him.
He's funny and he's charming under all the mishigas.
She sees his beautiful soul, and she feels his pain.
Benji lives as though the world is going to embrace him, and he does not project any kind of anger or judgment. Benji is coming at it with this great openness and this great sympathy, and he means it. And the other characters can see that he means it. And again, you'll notice that I wanted to ask all these important questions. What is the right way to tour this history, and how are we supposed to view this history? Is it appropriate to view this history while kind of self-flagellating at night? Or is it appropriate to view this history with the kind of comforts of the Radisson Hotel, where you can really kind of take in what you saw and really try to kind of, understand it from more of an academic way? And these two characters have two very different perspectives.
Jesse and Kieran, relative to the dynamic between David and Benji, where there were some similarities, where Jesse's very precise and kind of attention to detail, whereas Kieran was a bit more an agent of chaos, I suppose, in a really enjoyable way.
That's my first time working with a writer, director, actor. And so going into the film, I know we got a great script, but what's gonna be with the other two? A tough one was definitely doing a scene with somebody who then, after the scene, is gonna give me notes. Now, that's something you can't do that. That's a huge no-no. Actors cannot do anything like that, or even any version of a note. And meanwhile, he says cut and starts telling me what to do. He's like, so for this next one, I'm like, what the fuck did you just say? Okay, yeah, that's right, he's my director.
I was told, even before I hired him, Kieran is the funniest improviser you'll ever meet. And I told them, oh, that's not the nature of this, but thank you for telling me this irrelevant news, because I don't want to change any of my dialogue. And then the first day on set, there was a part that he had to actually improvise. And walking through the park together, and he runs up and talks to Jennifer Grey's character. And I said, just say anything, we're not gonna hear the sound.
Why are you walking?
Extremely precise director. All the actors felt very taken care of. I think he's a very empathetic director. Perhaps because he knows how it feels to be an actor, he was always very attentive to everyone's needs and feelings.
Honestly, he is such an amalgam of beautiful qualities. I think that he's a really serious individual, and he doesn't take himself seriously, which is a great combination, and he's so vulnerable.
I think Jesse is very drawn to stories that are about really big themes, but told in a way that isn't this epic, and he lets the sort of pathos bubble underneath.
Most Holocaust movies want to shoot at concentration camps because the movies take place during the Holocaust, and they want to have scenes of violence at a concentration camp. And most of these movies are set at Auschwitz. And so my Danik gets a call all the time, can we shoot Auschwitz 1942 in your concentration camp? And they say, no. We don't want Nazis running around this place, this sacred place. And so they just say no all the time, which is what we were getting. And then they finally read my script and they realized, oh, this is something we've never read before. It takes place in my Danik, which no Holocaust movie does.
That, I think, was the hardest day for me, because I knew that James, the character, would have been to this place many times before and would perhaps have read this quite harrowing testimony, you know, tens of, if not hundreds of times. But for me, it was like my first time being in a place like that and my first time reading something like that.
Can I just do it once? Can I just do it once through, if that's okay? Thank you.
He started to read, and all of a sudden, something just happened to me, and I just became almost like I was gonna faint, or I was just like overcome in a way that nothing could have prepared me for. And next thing I know, I was crying so hard.
Jennifer Grey in particular had a very difficult emotional time in there. At one point, I forgot, but at one point I remember I just gave her a hug and she was like, "Could you sense I needed it?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, this is a really, really hard place."
A better experience shooting anywhere in the world than shooting in Poland. Poland has one of the greatest film schools in Europe, and so when we were crewing up a movie in Poland and I was, longing for my American crew from my previous movie, I realized, oh, we're gonna have the best crew in Europe. They're all here. And then actually shooting in these places was just crazy. This was an incredibly ambitious shoot. We had to shoot at an airport that could double as Warsaw, that could double as JFK. We had to shoot on trains, different trains that were moving every day, shooting in places that were in the center of cities, in rural villages where movies never go, on monuments where they don't let you shoot, at a concentration camp that never lets you shoot.
Does it look real?
It was just an unbelievably ambitious shoot that I just can't imagine any other group of 100 people being able to pull it off. Something cathartic. We're gonna rise above anger, hate, resentment, and we're actually gonna make this lovely thing here. And, in a way it felt like this is kind of, I don't know, some kind of beautiful fate.